You walk into the Apple store. Your old phone is fine, really, but the battery is a little slow, and the screen has a tiny hairline crack that catches the light just right to annoy you. You've spent weeks convincing yourself you need the upgrade. It's for work, right? It's a productivity tool. It's an investment in your personal brand. So, you drop $1,200 on the new iPhone Pro Max Titanium. You walk out of the store feeling a rush of dopamine. You feel successful. You feel like the person the commercials told you you'd be. But then you get into your car. You look at this masterpiece of engineering. It's sleek. It's futuristic. And suddenly, you look down at your old, frayed charging cable. It looks like garbage. It feels almost offensive to plug this $1,200 device into a $5 gas station cable. So, you walk back in and buy the MagSafe charger. That's $40. Then you get home and put the phone on your nightstand. But wait, your cheap plastic phone case looks ridiculous on a titanium device. You need the leather case. That's $60. Then you realize your old wired headphones or those Gen 1 AirPods are incompatible with the Vibe. You need the AirPods Pro to truly unlock the experience. That's another $250. Within 48 hours, that $1,200 purchase has quietly, almost invisibly, turned into a $1,600 purchase. And you didn't even notice it happening. This isn't just you being bad with money. This is a psychological chain reaction that has destroyed more fortunes than the stock market ever could. It explains why lottery winners go bankrupt and why buying a dream house often turns into a financial nightmare. My name is Jack, and on this channel, we explore the invisible scripts that keep you broke. Most people think they buy things because they need them. Today, I'm going to prove to you that you buy things because your other things are demanding them. If you want to stop the spiral, smash that like button and let's dive into the story of the man who lost everything because of a bathrobe. The philosopher's ruin. To understand why your bank account is leaking, we have to travel back to France, 1765. Meet Denis Diderot. Diderot was one of the most brilliant minds of the Enlightenment. He was a philosopher, the co-founder of the Encyclopédie, and a man of immense intellectual stature. But despite his fame, Diderot was broke. He lived a humble life. He wore old, tattered clothes. He walked on worn-out rugs. He sat on a rickety wooden chair in a dusty library. And here is the important part. He was happy. He was content. His surroundings matched his reality. But then, the world intervened. Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia, heard about Diderot's financial struggles. She was a massive fan of his work. In a gesture of extreme imperial grandeur, she offered to buy his entire library for a massive sum, roughly $50,000 in today's money, while letting him keep the books and paying him a salary to be her librarian. Suddenly, the starving philosopher was rich, and Diderot did what any of us would do. He treated himself. He went out and bought a beautiful, expensive, scarlet dressing gown, a luxury silk robe fit for a king. He brought it home, put it on, and felt magnificent. But as he sat down at his old wooden desk to write, he noticed something. The robe was elegant, but his desk was scratched, rotting, and covered in ink stains. The contrast was painful. The desk didn't match the elegance of the robe, so he replaced the desk with a beautiful mahogany writing table. He sat down again. Now the robe and the desk looked great together. But as he looked down at the floor, he realized his old, threadbare rug looked like a dirty rag next to the mahogany. It was an insult to the room, so he bought a plush, expensive Damascus rug. You can guess the rest. The rug made the curtains look cheap. He replaced the curtains. The new curtains made his old chair look like firewood. He bought a leather armchair from Morocco. He bought new paintings, new gold-framed mirrors, and expensive sculptures. He spent months obsessing over the unity of his room. He systematically replaced every single object he owned until his entire environment matched the quality of that scarlet robe. By the end of it, Denis Diderot was broke again. He had plenty of stuff, but no peace. He later wrote a haunting essay titled "Regrets on Parting with My Old Dressing Gown." In it, he wrote, "I was the absolute master of my old dressing gown, but I have become a slave to my new one." This is the Diderot Effect. the introduction of a new possession into a consumer's existence will often result in a process of spiraling consumption. We think we own our things, but in reality, our things own us. Modern application, the identity spiral. You're probably thinking, okay, Jack, nice story about a French guy from 300 years ago, but I don't buy scarlet robes. You're right, you don't buy robes, you buy identities. The Diderot Effect is actually more dangerous today than it was in 1765 because modern marketing is weaponized to trigger your need for identity consistency. Let's look at the fitness identity spiral. You decide to get in shape. You buy a Peloton bike. That's a $1,500 commitment. You tell yourself it's an investment in your health. But when the bike arrives, you realize you can't ride it in your old, baggy cotton t-shirt and high school gym shorts. You don't look like the instructors on the screen. You don't feel like a cyclist. To maintain consistency with the bike, you buy the specialized cycling shoes, $150. Then the moisture-wicking compression gear, $100. Then the heart rate monitor, $75. Then you realize the bike looks cluttered in your messy spare room. You need a Zen workout space. You buy a yoga mat, adjustable dumbbells, and maybe a new smart TV to cast the workouts. Suddenly, you haven't just bought a bike. You've bought an entire lifestyle. This is the core psychology, identity consistency. As humans, we crave coherence. We want our external world to match our internal self-image. If you view yourself as a Honda Civic person, you're comfortable wearing $20 jeans and eating at McDonald's. But the moment you stretch your budget to buy a Porsche, you have shifted your identity. You are now a Porsche person. And Porsche people don't wear scratched sunglasses. They don't have cheap IKEA furniture. They don't eat off paper plates. The car acts as the anchor item. It sets a new baseline for your entire life. Every other item you own that falls below that baseline creates psychological tension. To relieve that tension, you upgrade. The car forces the wardrobe. The wardrobe forces the vacation spots. The vacation spots force the luxury luggage. You aren't spending money because you want to. You are spending money to maintain the coherence of your story. The mathematics of the chain reaction. Let's break down the math of what I call the chain reaction cost. Most people look at a price tag and ask, can I afford this $500 item? This is the wrong question. You need to calculate the system cost. Let's take the classic example, the small home renovation. You decide to renovate your kitchen. You budget $10,000 for new cabinets. Seems reasonable, but once the modern, white, soft-close cabinets are installed, your 10-year-old, slightly yellowish refrigerator looks disgusting. It works perfectly, but visually, it clashes. It breaks the unity. So, you spend $2,500 on a stainless steel fridge. Now the cabinets and fridge are sleek, but looking down, your vinyl floor looks like a relic from the 1970s. The contrast is unbearable, so you rip up the floor for hardwood. That's $6,000. Now the kitchen is a masterpiece. It looks like a magazine cover, but it's an open concept house. When you stand in your $18,500 kitchen and look into the living room looks like a dump. The old brown sofa looks sad. The paint looks dull. The kitchen renovation has leaked into the rest of the house. By the time you're done painting the downstairs and buying a new sectional, the final cost isn't $10,000. It's $40,000. The cabinets were the scarlet robe. They were the anchor that made everything else look inadequate. If you had kept the old cabinets, you never would have noticed the floor. You were happy with them before. The upgrade created the dissatisfaction. Upgrades are downgrades in disguise. This brings us to a terrifying realization. Upgrades are often downgrades in freedom. When Diderot had his old robe, he didn't worry about ink stains. He used it to wipe his pen. It was a tool. He was the master of it. But when he got the new robe, he became terrified of ruining it. He became stiff. He lost his freedom. When you buy a brand new, expensive white couch, you stop letting your friends drink red wine in the living room. You stop letting the dog jump up. You stop living in your living room because you are now servicing the object. You have become the curator of a museum, not the resident of a home. This applies to cars, too. When you drive an old, beat-up truck, you can park anywhere. You don't care about shopping cart dings. You have total freedom. When you buy the $80,000 luxury SUV, you spend your time circling the parking lot to find a safe spot. You've traded your peace of mind for a status symbol. The things you bought to make your life better have actually made your life more restrictive. You are now a slave to the maintenance, the insurance, and the protection of your stuff. The firewalls, how to break the spiral. So, how do we stop this? We can't just live in a cave and never buy anything nice. That's not realistic. But we can build firewalls to stop the psychological spiral. Here is my 3-step defense strategy against the Diderot effect. 1. Predict the chain reaction. Before you buy any anchor item, a car, a renovation, a high-end watch, you must pause and ask, what else will this item demand? If you buy a high-performance sports car, will it demand premium fuel, specialized mechanics, a garage upgrade? If you buy a PS5, will it demand a 4K TV to see the graphics properly? Write down the system cost, not the item cost. If the item is $500, but the system cost is $1,500, and you only have $600, you can't afford it. You're inviting a financial vampire into your house. 2. The buy one, give one rule. The Diderot effect thrives on accumulation. We add the new thing, but keep the old things, and then try to make them all match. You need to cap your inventory. If you buy a new pair of sneakers, an old pair must leave the house. Donate it or sell it. If you buy a new kitchen appliance, the old one goes. This forces you to value what you have. It prevents you from building a shrine of possessions. It keeps you in the mindset of a user, not a collector. 3. Practice strategic downgrading. This is the nuclear option, but it works. Sometimes the only way to reset your baseline is to deliberately downgrade a visible part of your life. Drive a slightly older car than you can afford. Wear a watch that is simple and functional. When your anchor items are humble, you feel zero pressure to upgrade everything else. If you drive an old Toyota, nobody expects you to wear a $2,000 suit. You have freedom. You can wear jeans. You can eat a burrito in your car. By keeping your status symbols low, you lower the required cost of the rest of your life. You create a low-maintenance identity, and let me tell you, a low-maintenance identity is the most profitable asset you can own. It allows you to stack cash while everyone else is busy curating their museum. Don't buy the robe. Look, there is nothing wrong with nice things. I like nice things, but you have to understand the game you are playing. Consumerism is designed to make you feel incomplete. It's a machine built to convince you that you are just one purchase away from happiness. But Diderot taught us the truth 300 years ago, that one purchase doesn't finish the puzzle. It scrambles the puzzle. Every time you upgrade, you reset the board. You create a new baseline of dissatisfaction. The goal isn't to own the most expensive scarlet robe. The goal is to be the person who doesn't need the robe to feel important. Stop being a slave to your possessions. Stop buying things to impress people you don't even like. If you want to know more about how to build real wealth that doesn't rely on showing off, check out this video right here where I break down why the millionaire next door is usually driving a Ford, not a Ferrari. And if this video saved you from making a stupid anchor purchase this week, hit the like button and subscribe for more financial sanity. Don't buy the robe. Be the master of your life.